Hi everybody, welcome back. What if I told you layer feed? You know, the stuff we give our backyard chickens that we want to lay eggs wasn't great for our chickens. Now I recognize this goes contrary to what many people are doing with their chickens. No judgment, that's cool, you get to do whatever you want. But I'm going to provide you with some great data as well as links to scientific studies in the description of this video that support everything that I'm saying. Suffice to say, layer feed was invented for one thing: commercial egg production. Layer feed came out of the rise of the Industrial Revolution and the development of commercial poultry production in the early 1900s. What was happening was chickens were being bred to produce way more eggs than they ever had before. And so as a result, the feed mills needed to adapt. The nutrition needed to adapt. And so they started formulating special recipes for layers. Now, the main thing that was different, especially early on, was they added calcium, either in the form of limestone or oyster shell, to make sure that the eggs were good and hard, and that would mean they could go to market, they wouldn't have to worry about eggs being broken, etc. But the other most notable thing that was happening at that same point in time was they started reducing the amount of protein that was traditionally given to chickens. And the reason was because it was a business.
Yes, we'll find someone cheap. It's been a very lean year for us. Money fight!
And protein is the most expensive ingredient in all feed. They put the bare minimum of protein they possibly could into layer feed to ensure that the eggs were produced, with egg production being the foremost important thing and the lifespan of a chicken being a distant second. So layer feed sits at around 16% protein. And that's not a random number. It turns out it is the bare minimum necessary to keep a chicken alive and still produce eggs. That's it. And so there's not a lot in the bandwidth of the chicken's nutrition that allows for anything else. And it doesn't have to be a lot to tip that scale and the chicken stops producing eggs because it wants to keep itself alive. Protein is that thing. Now, an all-flock feed typically runs between 18 and 20%. And what that does is that provides the extra margin of nutritional range. So if there is molting, if there's wounds that need to be healed, there's stress on the chicken, well, that requires the body to avail itself of more protein. And when it's not there, egg production simply stops. And so all flock is generally in that sweet spot of 18 to 20%. An amount that gives your chicken also the bandwidth to form a healthy body that is going to have a long lifespan. Now I can hear you already. Some of you are saying, no, that's not true. 18 to 20% is too much. It'll put too much of a load on their body for some reason or other. That is a myth. The science simply doesn't support it. Commercial egg production says that's too much because it's more expensive, but scientifically speaking, 18 to 20% is the sweet spot. It's what will keep your chicken healthy, happy, and productive. The last piece of this puzzle is calcium. There is extra calcium added to a layer feed versus very little that is contained in an all-flock feed. And the solution is very simple. It's cheap. Calcium is cheap in the form of oyster shell. And you can free feed chickens oyster shell, and the ones that need it will eat it, and the ones that don't need it won't. Keep in mind, 16% layer feed was developed during a period of time in which people no longer wanted to raise their own chickens. No, that was backward thinking. A modern person relegated the responsibility of the family's food production to a corporation. Meanwhile, the average lifespan of an egg-laying chicken in corporate America is 18 months. And then after that, they're ground up and turned into chicken nuggets or whatever. I think it's safe to say most of us that keep our own backyard egg-laying chickens, we want a very different thing. We want our chickens to have happy, long, productive lives. In that order. And lastly, the in-run salad bar. This is an experiment that I'm trying to fine-tune to figure out just the right way to do it. It's one of the main reasons why I designed my new chicken coop and run. The basic idea is you put a frame down in the run, you put forage mix under that frame, you water it, you give it about a month, you remove the frame to another spot, and you repeat. And that's basically what I've been doing. Some of the changes that I have made, originally the frame I was using was very low. And because chickens dig around and kick dirt around so much, they would eventually bury it. And so what I'm doing now is I make the frames taller so that they don't completely bury the frame. I changed the way that I do the long salad bar. I cut it in half so that I can switch back and forth. So I can have one end growing, one end be a dust bath, and then flip them back and forth. And so far, so good. The chickens really love it. And it's a great way to introduce more protein-rich greens in their diet with a nice healthy forage mix. And so it's my goal to make sure that my chickens have a diverse diet that gives them a long, happy, productive life. In this video, I'm gonna talk about, really? I knew he would. But I'm going to provide good data, and as well as, Cooper, we talked about this, don't interrupt. When I'm talking, we don't interrupt. Go into some of the details. Cooper, we've talked about this. Hi everybody, welcome back. Is providing a salad bar for my chickens in the run. Cooper, raise your wing when you want me to call on you, as well as some of the things that I do to help make sure that my flock is healthy. So close. We give our chickens that we want to lay eggs, wasn't great at doing the very thing that's what happens when you go off script. Hey. So there's a chicken down the hill, a rooster down the hill, little ways away down in the valley. And he can hear that rooster, and he can't hold himself back. Whenever that rooster has something to say, what do you say, Cooper? Yeah, he can't hold it back. If you made it this far, you are a die-hard chicken person. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. It's people like you that made it possible for Wineberry Hill to hit 100,000 subscribers. And if you made it this far, please consider doing all that YouTube stuff, the liking, subscribing, especially the commenting, and perhaps consider supporting the channel in additional ways that will ensure that I can continue making content that appeals to you. And as always, if you like this video, well, you might like these.